Republicans. Am I right?
Yeah, which one?
You're one of them, Mo. Look at he's trying to squeak out of here.
I'm at home, dog.
He's like, oh, maybe he's
there's
being
a lot of
Republicans.
Republicans at home right now.
How close, Mo, were you to going to the?
I had a ticket.
You had a ticket.
But
would you be storming the
no,
building, or would you be?
I'd run out of breath.
You know what I would be?
Honest.
I saw that I would be running the concession stand outside. Someone actually set up a concession stand.
Oh,
outside.
I saw
Smart.
that too. That was actually
that's what I would be. That's what I'd be doing,
genius.
selling hot dogs and shit. Absolutely.
That's the real American dream right there.
Yeah, what a show. Oh man.
I mean, Trump was right. We needed to build the wall. We just put it in the wrong spot.
Well, it wasn't very effective at this
I mean, it probably kept a lot of people. To be fair. I'm sorry,
dude. I don't.
Yeah.
It's just so fucking crazy. What's going to happen the next 14 days? The real money here, I'm waiting for Predicted to do this one, is will they do 25th Amendment or impeach him after this?
Everybody keeps talking about the 25th.
I know it's unlikely.
It would be
I'm
a
just
funny
saying.
fucking meme, but
Can
I
you
don't think it would.
explain the 25th Amendment, please?
Yeah.
So
please,
basically, the 25th Amendment is they're going to look at Trump and be like, this motherfucker's not fit to lead, so we're just going to eject him. That's basically the 25th Amendment. It's like the fourth clause of the 25th Amendment is like, if the president is unfit to give orders, but the problem is that unfit word like is widely open to interpretation. I feel like it probably means you have to be like fucking like brain dead or mentally unwell or something. I don't think they can just yeet him because they don't like that he's sitting at the laugh house drinking martinis, laughing at everybody killing themselves.
Well, isn't it pointless to do it this late anyway?
Well, it's more symbolic.
Well, that's another thing too. Like the whole process for all of this.
Actually, maybe it's not. I mean, the 25th you can do same day. Hypothetically, who does the 25th Amendment? That's part of his not his staff, but
his cabinet.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Is that who does the 25th?
I don't even know who in his cabinet is left.
I think it is the cabinet that does it. It's not the Senate.
No, I'm pretty sure it's the cabinet who takes a vote. It's like 15 people in it, right?
Yeah. So if they do that, that's like gone tomorrow. Now the question is, do you think like Trump's banned from Twitter right now for 12 hours or whatever?
Yeah, he's locked out.
How much damage can he do hypothetically for the next 2 weeks? Is it enough to do that or not? Is the real question.
That's a good question. During the inauguration and everything, who the fuck knows?
I mean, I think he's just gotten too overeager. He's been posturing so hard. Like I really believe all the things that he's doing is just to keep his base happy. He doesn't actually believe most of the stuff he's doing.
You know,
most likely.
I think Trump
he believes it.
I think he's insane. I would have believed that a while ago. I've listened to too many fucking phone calls with this motherfucker. I think he believes it. I think he genuinely thinks the election was stolen from him, and he's trying to find out like who did it.
Slasher, did you listen to the call with him?
Yeah.
He thinks he won every state in the country.
No, but it's so insane that I can't take it fucking seriously.
I know, but he said that for the past like 4 years.
Yeah, but no one was. He didn't think anyone was recording that, dude. Like he thought he was just talking to him.
Like, let's be real. Like, how long did we watch like Method Josh's stream, thinking like, is this guy real? And look at what happened. I think Trump is the same motherfucker. Okay, 100%.
Isn't this like textbook narcissism? Like this is like they literally just believe their entire narrative. Like
nothing is textbook. He's writing new chapters in every textbook right now with this fucking.
I don't know if it's a pathology or if he's just like delusional.
I mean, he's been able to manipulate half of the country, and half of Americans, or just about half of Americans, still fucking believe that the election was stolen and all of this shit is happening. So Trump is just using the power of the idiocy of half the people that fucking live here to his own advantage. And I feel like if he ever, goes back on the election was not stolen, he's going to lose his base. And he's afraid he's not going to be able to run again in 2024.
What's the point of even keeping a base now? Because he doesn't.
He wants
to run again.
No, I think you're putting the cart before the horse. I don't think Trump is scared of losing his base. I think there's just a base that will follow Trump to the ends of the earth. I don't think Trump has ever played to a base. I think that Trump just does really dumb shit, and it happens to like do well with Republicans.
I agree with that. I agree with that. I like that take.
Because Trump can walk into any area and like just say crazy shit that traditionally Republicans wouldn't have been okay with, and they'll like.
He said he loved he loved everybody that fucking broke into the Capitol today. He's like, I love you guys. You got to go home, but you guys are my special little people.
You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? Like everyone's been talking about like an armed uprising for so long, and like, is this it? This is as bad as it gets.
I think this. For
I don't
now,
think. You know what? I don't think anybody actually takes up like an AR-15 against the police. Nobody has the like. Everybody likes TV.
Don't even. No.
Everybody likes TV too much. Everybody likes everybody likes their medication.
I'd be careful.
No one's gonna go up against a tank.
No shot. No.
So?
Yes, they would. Yes, they would.
It would have to be different. I can tell you how it would be. So here's how it happened. Flip the situation. Okay. So the Republicans won, and Democrats are doing this now, right? And we're successful.
What do you mean successful?
So again, flip it. So now Trump actually like destroyed in the election, and the Democrats are saying it's all fraud with no evidence, shit like that across the board. And then we're challenging it in the courts, and us as the Democrats win. And we actually overturn the election that all the courts said there was no cause for. Then you would get a fucking civil war at that point.
I could be wrong on this, but I think that people just don't want to get shot. Like people, I don't think that people like want to get shot. I think this is
my issue is though, Devin. The reason I'm cutting you off is I feel like
that's fine. Yeah, I'm not sure I'm right. I'm just The
only reason I want to be careful with that is like, so like if we were talking, if we knew that all of America were decently intelligent, just like at a little above average intelligence, which we know now that's not the case, right? Then I'd say, well, the comparison you're making is fair and everyone understands what you're saying. The problem is, I think there are stupid enough people that will take what you're saying as a challenge and it might incite some bullshit, right? So I don't want to risk that. Does that make sense?
I don't think that's fair. I don't think I'm inciting violence, if that's what you're saying.
No, I don't think you're inciting violence. I just think there might be some dumb motherfucker that mommy and daddy are brother and sister.
If Devin Nash is the fucking tilter for the Civil War in America, okay, we were fucked anyway.
True.
Like if I'm what pushes it over, man, like I think there's more serious shit at play.
Devin
I don't
Nash,
think it can
the
happen
Franz Ferdinand of World War III.
Yeah,
I agree. I agree with Devin here, where it's like, yeah, you have a bunch of people who did really stupid stuff with Corona because it's not something they can see. You can visibly see when someone has a gun in front of you. Like people want to go about and like live their lives, right? Like I think you're going to see more protesting. There's going to be violence. People people are going to get hurt. There might be some like casualties of all this, but like I think for me the scarier thing is actually the long-term like repercussions of a divided country, right? Like it's not the immediate rioting or anything like that. It's basically that the United States is very much two, if not three, very different countries at this point, and we have no unity. And I don't know.
Yeah, the dysfunction right now is pretty scary, and the partisan divide is like getting bigger and bigger, and eventually, like things are going to stop working if that partisan divide remains where it's at.
Yeah, one of the best pieces of data on this is like Pew Research has consistently like checked people's opinions and partisan politics over the years for the last like couple decades, and we're just getting increasingly polarized, and we're at like the last 4 years sped it up even more. We're at like peak polarization. I don't know. It's like there's two different realities. There's the California reality, all the Californians live in that bubble, and then there's an entirely different reality that's lived in the South, right? So
well, I'll tell you, moving forward, my prediction of what happens is that the Republican Party, I know this is a little crazy, but I think most of them will be anti-Trump moving forward. I think it's the only way that it can progress because they just can't continue being beholden to this guy.
But he's still massively popular. That's the problem.
But he's popular because people have gone along with it and the media has gone along with it. And I feel like if the Republican...
No.
You don't think if the media all of a sudden is saying like Trump is
real
like...
quick, hold on, because this is totally ahistorical, right? The media in the beginning, everybody in the media laughed at Trump and made fun of him. He got so much unearned media during the 2016 primary season. Nobody took him seriously. Everybody thought he was a joke on the Republican and the Democrat side. Not only did the media lambast him, you can go back and you can find all of the actual lawmakers in Congress that made fun of him too. Lindsey Graham has famous quotes about him. Ted Cruz has famous quotes about him. Like a ton of lawmakers in Congress were making fun of him too. Everybody in the mainstream was against him. Trump is popular because people like him, not because he was artificially put there or because somebody like propelled him through the media or through Congress or whatever there.
I understand that people liked Trump's personality, but I think it's a naive thing to say that the media could not take away a very, very large portion of that influence by essentially coming out here and be like, holy shit, Trump actually was like a criminal. And you have Tucker Carlson coming out there saying that. You don't think that's going to change minds?
I think the media works a lot more in a much more sophisticated manner than people on the left or the right like to give it credit for. People think that like the media is this rigged thing that like just tries to make people think certain things. The media is oftentimes just a reflection of things that we believe. I think that it plays into itself. People think a certain thing, the media shows you a certain thing, people keep believing a certain thing, and then we can divide ourselves more and more that way. I don't think the media, it's highly conspiratorial to think that somebody's going to come out in media and be like, listen guys, we're going to just push a whole new message, fuck what our customers want, and hopefully they start to believe us. That's not how it works.
Well, it's not a whole new message. It's like, this is fucked. We believed in this man and he steered us wrong. And you have Tucker Carlson and all these other people that were like the ones that actually matter. Because you look at Newsmax and OAN and all these people that supposedly matter, they're fucking nothing, okay, compared to Fox News. Still, literally nothing compared to these guys. if these guys start essentially trying to turn the needle by saying like this is fucked, I think it's not going to be a 180 flip, but you'll certainly have movement in the other direction.
You'll probably have movement over time, but it'll follow public opinion, I think.
Yeah, and it's also it's less going to be movement. It's just going to be people being quiet about it, right? Like they'll just kind of forget him and let Trump go to the wayside. And then again, I think when I talk about like the concerns of a divided America in the future, like Trump is a symptom of it. Like he is not the cause of any of this, right? Like, and you can look, it's not even in the case of the United States, you can look all across the globe to see the same sort of populism that's been occurring in many of these democracies, right? Like we had the case of Bolsonaro in Brazil, people going against the deal with like, what was it? Who are the rebels in Colombia? And like the people of Colombia voted against it because they were just pissed off at them, even though it was like obviously a good deal. You have Brexit, like all of these things and Trump, all of these things are symptoms of a broader issue going on.
If he runs again, do you think he runs as a Republican?
He's like 92 years old. I don't think he's running.
Nah,
yeah.
His son?
Here's what I think is actually going to happen. I think because of all of this, I don't think this country is going to vote red for quite some time. I'm going to be completely honest with you, especially with the states that went red. I mean, that went blue this election, that we thought even in 100 years wouldn't. I don't think we're going red for a while, to be completely real with you guys.
I don't know.
I mean, you've got like 2 blue senators in Arizona and 2 blue senators in Georgia. That's pretty fucking crazy. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, but you
I
know,
was born in Arizona, so like I know that that's insane.
It's a demographics thing, right? Like you have 4 more, like in the next presidential election, you have 4 more years of Gen Z that can vote, and you have, this is gonna be kind of mean, but like you have 4 more years of
boomers
older
until
generations,
they die or whatever.
older generations dying who then don't vote, or I mean, like that's the case. And then if you look at any of the demographics of like how people vote or on the issues that they vote on, any of the younger demographics tend to be way more progressive. And that, by the way, that flip of what progressive ideals have, like the difference between old Democrats and young Democrats is not nearly as big on certain issues as old Republicans and young Republicans.
What's insane though is, real quick to add in, I think if, so here's the only thing that threatens the staying blue hypothetical. It's what you just said there. If the ball swings way too far left and they take this position, right, and this opportunity as a way to like shift way too left, that's when it goes back to possibly, you know, going to the other side. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I think it's pretty scary, like the whiplash we'll get if like going from as far right as this government's gone to, because you like this might be, I'm so curious if this is the most whiplash like of electoral stuff in American history. We went from having a Senate, a House, and a president that were all red, and then we had an incumbent president get unseated, and now we have a House, Senate, and new president coming in that's blue. That is crazy whiplash.
It is.
And it would be really scary to see like if things do swing too far left or not far left enough, is there going to be like backlash from the right after that?
Yeah, no, there will. Destiny, 100% that is going to happen. I mean, there's a reason throughout American history we have like Democrat, Republican, and you don't have usually Republicans or Democrats.
And
for
you lose
12
the
or
House
16
when you're
years.
the president and all that usually.
Yeah, so if Biden even slips up at all, and now that the Democrats have control of everything, they can't blame anybody for not pushing legislation through. They can't fucking whine and cry that the big orange man is stopping everything and making everything terrible for the country. So there's a possibility that if Biden doesn't do well enough, and if the Democrats don't do well enough for the country, and we stay in gridlock and they don't pass enough legislation, the Republicans will not only gain steam, but they're going to get, you know, big mad and invigorated and energized by the Democrats being in power, and then come back in 2024 or worst case scenario 2028 and then win.
Expectations are so high on this administration.
What if nothing? What if it's a bad presidency?
I'm scared that like I don't know. It's hard. Yeah, it's going to be rough.
This might be like. This is a little like, I don't know, maybe is this like, even though there's no like major conflict going on, I think the next 4 years, next 8 years are probably the most, like some of the most important for the U.S. in this century, probably.
I mean, there's even not only
this will determine global power.
I mean, like, there's even problems in the left in that the progressive movement still doesn't like the neoliberal movement at all. And the progressive movement wants so many things, whether it's like Medicare for all or higher minimum wage or the elimination of student debt or all these things that we might not really get. And it's not realistic. They're going to be all mad and pissed off. And if Biden doesn't come through on these things that probably he's not going to be able to pass, there's a potential that the far left is pissed off at Biden.
There is like a path forward, though, where people like AOC are maturing and they're becoming a little bit more electorally smart, where hopefully they start to take the lead on some of these things and push in a way that doesn't threaten moderate Dems. Like, I know that a lot of the problem that a lot of progressives have right now is they don't really understand that it's not just like one big country. It's 50 different states, and you have to play every state electorally a lot different. You know, I see people in chat spamming, oh, Manchin, oh, Joe Manchin, oh, Joe Manchin. You know, a Justice Dem tried to win in West Virginia, and she got fucking slaughtered on a progressive platform. She got destroyed. And both of the Democrats that just won in Georgia won on moderate platforms. Ossoff specifically rejecting Medicare for all. Warnock specifically being in favor of a more Biden expansion on the ACA. So progressives are going to have to learn that just because they can sit in plus 40 districts in New York and scream about how they want, oh, all this super progressive shit, the whole country isn't ready for that. And you have to be a little bit more intelligent when it comes to trying to win elections and not bully the rest of the party because you're not getting your perfect ultra-left agenda passed.
And that's always the problem with the left. The Republicans won under Trump because they knew to fall in line. Destiny was totally right. The media fucking shit on Trump. Other senators shit on Trump. Ted Cruz shit on Trump. Lindsey Graham shit on Trump. Everyone fucking shit on Trump. But as soon he was the clear winner and he's going to be the one to lead the party, everyone fell in line because they knew that was the ticket to win. Democrats like to fucking lose because they like to bitch and complain about so many little things and infight with each other all the time. That's why there's still 100 people in the House right now saying that the election was rigged and that they need to recount the votes. That's why there's still senators, and this thing is still going till 2 a.m. right now because Republicans really truly believe that the fucking election was not truly done and they want to back Trump. And Democrats.
No, I don't think that's the case. I don't think maybe there's one or two. I think all of them just think it's politically more viable for them to say that it was fake. I don't think any of them actually believe that. No,
they only do it because of the political viability. Because Trump is so popular, you have to.
Yeah, but it is a unifier. The Republicans are much better at unifying together and forgetting differences, while Democrats like to fight a lot more about stuff.
Well, actually, moving forward, so the left, Democrats have the Bernie or busters, right? That's the main people that divide our party. Moving forward, Republicans are going to have only Trump or whatever the fuck that's going to be called, right? Because Trump's already out there saying we're going to primary people unless you were supporting Trump. They're going to have the essentially modern Tea Party fucking them up. So that's the way it is. Both parties.
I don't know what's crazy.
Also, wait, real quick. Hold on. I'm sorry. I
please.
So everybody's saying every Democrat that ran on Medicare for all and Green New Deal won, blah 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 blah. In 2018, the Justice Dems endorsed 100 fucking candidates. It was 75, 80 candidates. Okay, and the only reason that they all won in the 2020 cycle is because they endorsed fucking 15. Okay, yeah, they realized that their ultra progressive platform was not a winning platform across the country. That's why it's bullshit for them to go to moderate Dems and bully them into an ultra progressive platform when even they realize that their platforms were massive fucking losers. Ilhan Omar underperformed Biden more than every other fucking winning person in the entire fucking United States during that election. Okay, the idea that the Justice Dem agenda is popular everywhere just doesn't make sense. If it did make sense, then go win in competitive districts. Stop primarying Democrats in plus 30 fucking districts. Go win somewhere where it actually fucking matters. Go get us a Justice Dem in fucking Arizona or Georgia or West Virginia, and then you can cry about moderate Democrats there. Otherwise, shut the fuck up and stay to Twitter.
The progressive policies are still. Medicare for all and eliminating, student debt and raising the minimum wage are all very popular throughout the country, but it is much more difficult to win your individual states and
because
elections.
National polls don't mean anything.
Yeah, popular throughout the country doesn't matter.
Exactly.
It's literally what we talked about.
I don't know why. No one on this fucking platform now, anybody that's left-leaning doesn't understand that national polls don't fucking mean anything. We don't do anything in this country by national polls. Something that has 52% support in the country might have 95% support in New York and California and 24% support in every other fucking moderate district. Just because something that polls at 52% in whatever dumb fuck thing that you see on a Twitter headline doesn't mean that it's electorally advantageous for every single moderate Dem in the state to make that their sole platform. And on the contrary, after the last election cycle, a lot of moderate Dems that were losing their seats were blaming some of this extremist messaging. People were complaining about things like fucking defund the police. People like Clyburn, big leaders, black leaders in Congress were saying shit hey, this messaging is fucking us in a lot of different districts. Just something to keep in mind, Sorry, I'm done.
No,
that was great.
Yeah, that was good. And so I have a question for you guys, for Destiny, Harkdan, for everyone that wants to chime in. So I myself voted for Bernie. And now with everything that's gone on and looking at how everything kind of went down, I think it's actually better that Biden won and that Biden's going to be leading the presidency for the Democratic side. Because I think in a situation where you have the House and the Senate blue, all of that, crazy. Does that make any sense? Do you see where I'm going with this? Like, I am for, sorry, I didn't take my fucking morning tea this morning, so I'm really very foggy, so I can't really talk.
Fair.
But what I'm trying to say is, okay, all the stuff that Bernie pushes for, right? Like all the moderate stuff that I see as moderate, like free education, free, healthcare. I support that. I like that stuff. I'm cool with that, right? I don't think that's extremist. I think that's moderate, normal shit. I think most moderate people would agree with that. I'm talking about the actual, the actual shit, the fan bases of these people, right? Do you think it's better that Biden came out as the leader of the blue? Or do you think if Biden would have won, if Bernie would have won, it would have went too far to the left, and that whiplash we're talking about would have actually happened?
I mean, I don't agree with all. I mean, I don't know if Bernie won the nomination, I honestly don't know if he would have won the election, which I think is a big thing. I think there's probably more likely that if Bernie won the nomination, he would have. Well, I don't know. The pandemic fucked Trump so hard that maybe anyone would have won. A fucking walking corpse basically would have won for the Democrats. So it's possible Bernie would have won too.
You say that? Or Sam, go ahead.
Boze, go ahead.
Oh, I was saying was like Biden has a lot of like traditional appeal, so I feel like he was able to pull more of those like people in like their 40s that aren't Republican.
Biden also had the minority vote, and Bernie never had that. Yeah,
that is very true.
I'll say
but I do think that listening to
Michigan
to Biden today, like, be so motivating, telling Trump to please get on TV and help everybody. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Biden. I think he'll be fine, but I'm not super impressed with everything.
I think Biden's he's trying to emulate Obama's speech giving, because he know it worked.
That's not happening.
I know he know it worked. He know the people loved it. He knew it instilled hope within all of them, but he doesn't realize he has to do his own thing that is natural to himself. So it's coming across just very disingenuous. I don't like it at all.
The problem is that the problem is that there's only one path forward for the United States. Blaustoise was talking about this, is that we have to come together more. There is no path forward.
But is that realistic, Steven? It's not going to happen, though. It's not happening. There's no fucking way.
Sure, then fucking buy an AR-15 and go fucking put in some hours at the range, okay? Because you're fine.
I know, but
we have to come together more than where we're at right now, because this is insane. Our capital got fucking raided today. It's unbelievable. We are at levels of insanity that were previously thought impossible just 4 years ago.
Agreed.
So something has to happen where we're working together. So I can understand Biden's desire to try to bring the country together somewhat, which is something that he's harped on over and over and over again, rather than to just be like, hey, motherfuckers, look who's here in town now. Get fucked for 2 years. This is our fucking government. I understand. I don't know if he can do it. I don't know if that's the solution to polarization, or if that doesn't lie more in the economic system we have, or in the media system we have, or something else. But I understand the desire to do it, because it's the only realistic path forward.
Yeah, that's the camp I'm in, and to obviously Devin and I had the discussion in the previous podcast about and Devin and I think the thing is Devin and I actually agree. I am for me, there's a lot of stuff that I genuinely, I'd like to think of myself as pro-America, which is why my biggest concern with all of this is, again, in the next decade, the next 2 decades, what does this division in our country do with how global powers are shaking up? And that is where my concern came in from the last podcast and would come in here, which is how do we actually fix this stuff to deal with the rising powers from other countries, right? So I don't know. I don't have a solution, by the way, but I agree with that. So I'm I think a world where Biden is more conciliatory, and I don't know, we need to be we start a war. I don't know, unify the country that way. But last time we did that, it didn't work. We need something.
Can we not do that?
Yeah,
that's not
the fuck.
Yeah, aliens coming and like trying to fight us.
When I say start a war, I mean like, we need to start a war on aliens, start a war on. I wish it could be climate change.
You mean just do something crazy?
Yeah, when I say start a war, it's more like we need some unifying
in a video game, right? You mean in a video game?
Yeah. No. But you get
you know what?
We need a unifying movement for this
Blaustoise,
country.
you're right.
We're fucked.
That's reinvigorated me to start my war again. This used to be a platform of gamers, nerds, kids that got bullied, kids that got fucked with. Now it's a goddamn platform, the same goddamn slut. No, I'm just kidding.
For what it's worth, I wouldn't, if I was Biden, I wouldn't do any compromising at all. I would go as hard to the balls to the wall as I could right now. Because
but the problem is like Trump is still so popular, dude. You're gonna like.
I understand that, but it's a natural push of things getting more liberal, more to the left. I still believe that, if you get Puerto Rico, DC statehood, that's pretty much the end of Republican control anyways. This could be the last Republican shit we have here. So I just say, fuck it, go ball. The Republicans would go balls to the wall. The whole problem with Democrats is always fucking half measures trying to be centrist and appeasing everyone, while Republicans go fucking full ape shit. Fuck it, go full ape shit, put it back somewhere in the middle, and then let this sort out in the future.
I mean, we say that, but like Republicans have to play the same electoral games as well. Like Trump didn't really get much of his agenda passed, right?
Yes, but now we can. 2 years, and we can do a lot of shit. We could make it. We have the votes right now to make Puerto Rico and DC states.
Wait, is that even true? Is that something
Yes.
to do with a simple majority, or is this like a fucking?
It's a simple majority,
thing?
and Puerto Rico, and I'm not sure on DC, has already voted.
Don't you need like every other state to agree to make a state or something?
That I don't know. I have to see. But I thought it was by Senate and the House.
I don't think, but again, I don't think that addresses the underlying issue of like two very different, like it's not even two, there's like 3 or 4 very different like American experiences, basically. Yeah, like there are different Americas. We're not like one unified country. We need something to unify us. Obviously, I don't like actually want us to go to war. I wish something like climate change, but again, that's not something that we're ever gonna like agree on. But like we need something to unify our country, or we're I don't know.
I realize this is an unpopular take, but I am incredibly impressed with the resilience that this nation has, given the problems that 2020 presented.
Yeah,
like
considering
that we are in like one of the worst pandemics since 1918, now literally a generational illness, and it took us as a world 18 months to come up with a safe and well-tolerated vaccine. We had one of the most divisive periods of political upheaval, one of the worst economic shakeups, just on and on, go down the list of all the things that happened that were fucked up in 2020. And yet we still are here, and we are still building ourselves up to be as best as we can be. And like, I'm like very optimistic to some extent. Like I'm a little bit more optimistic as a result of this year, because we got through it. Like I actually did expect this to be like blood in the streets, fucking crazy shit going on. And I mean, if the extent of that is, we have a couple people break into Congress and somebody try to 1v a FBI HCR team, then like I don't know, like it maybe at the end of the day, like I think most people, even being divisive and very much in their camps, want a better America. And I think the resilience that we've shown through this year is pretty encouraging. But I know it's not like popular to be optimistic right now. But
no, I think that's very true.
Mm.
Yeah. It is. So as far as all the shit that's gone on, so I saw some of the pictures. The main picture I'm talking about is the White House that looks like it's, out of one of those, movies. What's that shit called? What's that movie called? Like, Eagle Down. What's that movie called?
White House Down. Well, there's White Hot. Well, isn't it like White Hot?
I know what you're talking about, Down.
What movie is
the one where they have the assassins come in and take the White House, right?
Yeah. With Morgan Freeman as president.
That was such a shit movie. But
it was a terrible movie. Yeah, with Morgan Freeman as
bad.
president. I saw some of these pictures, bro, like of the White House, and it looks like some shit out of Olympus has fallen. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, it's gone to a point where other world leaders are looking at us and literally just shaking their fucking head. Like countries that I would make jokes of 2 years ago, of saying they had a weak military and without the big brother America, and now they're looking at us, and it's just embarrassing. Like, we should all be embarrassed, right?
Yeah.
It's
It kind
embarrassing.
of sucked. Like it was like on Twitter, the Prime Minister of India and like Justin Trudeau and like in Canada, and like, everyone's like, "Oh, come on, guys!" Like they're just like a disappointed dad. They're just like, "Come on, what are you guys doing?"
The funniest thing I saw was the government of Turkey making a tweet saying they were very disappointed in America and we really need to get our shit together.
Wait, really?
Oh my god, dude.
To be fair, I don't think a lot of these countries have any fucking standing to say shit about shit.
Sure. I think even didn't Maduro write up a big fucking thing? I thought Venezuela published some bullshit or whatever about how they were sad at the state of the U.S. too. Like, yeah.
Wait, there's actual Twitter accounts for full countries?
Well, like their leaders,
heads
the state, right?
heads of state.
The state earlier in the year. I know it's been so long ago, but that almost happened. You know, all last year we watched compilation videos of the cops beating the shit out of protesters for the entire year, and then military cosplay LARPers fucking storm the Capitol and are able to get inside the fucking building, into Pelosi's office, into the Senate building, up to the chair, and fucking put their fists in the air.
I think it speaks way louder. Insane. Like to me, like okay, one person died in total in like this Capitol raid shit. I think it speaks so much louder, the disparity that there was during BLM to now. Like that, I think is way, way more important of a narrative than the actual fucking like people got in and fucked around in the Capitol. I understand there's like a sort of spiritual and historical shit thing that comes with like getting into the Capitol building and like it hasn't happened since 1812 or whatever bullshit.
4 died.
But like, but man, like when you compare the disparity of the police response between the fucking BLM movement and this, it is something else. I remember being on this podcast going through the BLM movement and watching people get beat up, watching people die, watching people get tear gassed, watching a woman open an umbrella in Seattle and get fucking owned instantaneously by a bunch of fucking high threat response team. Meanwhile, a bunch of people just wander into literally the highest office in the land and essentially nothing happens except one person gets shot because they're literally trying to climb the window.
Was it expected? Like, where did they form the raid? Was it on Facebook?
4 died.
Yeah, it was through like Parler and shit. They used a lot of social
4
media.
people died? 4
4,
people?
yeah.
But Devin, how does it work? I mean, so you're saying that because of who they were, the police, all the police we're all on the same page.
The problem with
that
somehow the DC was just not ready for this. Like that was the problem. I don't know
I'm
how.
saying that there's a very clear disparity. Let me just clarify what I said. I'm saying there's a very clear disparity. There's a very clear disparity between what happened today and what happened during the BLM movement. I think that's a very safe thing to say, right?
Yeah, sure. Wait, what do you mean? Wait, what do you mean it's bullshit? They clearly were not ready. They're like begging for.
That's what I mean, though. It is ridiculous that they were not ready, considering everyone knew like what kind of day today was going to be. Trump has been
Everyone thought they were just talking shit.
Oh, but come on, DC police and the Nash, they could have set this all up way ahead of time to not be in the situation that they did. DC tried to put the National Guard in. I think Trump and Pence blocked it originally, or whatever it was, and they finally like had to go through afterwards. It is ridiculous that they were not ready to begin with. And I do think a big part of it is that, yeah, cops vote Trump. Like the same people that were basically protesting today are buddies of everybody on the other side.
Okay, I think there's two like very clear things that we can say. I think that one, DC was definitely not ready for this. Now, why they were not ready is one thing to consider. But two, I don't think the police could have done much different here. Like they did not have the manpower to deal with. Like I know that we've seen like a lot of Twitter video clips of like 20 guards rushing down like 10 or I'm sorry, like 20 like protesters against like 10 cops. If you get like these macro views of the event, you've got like fucking 10 cops standing against like an army, like hundreds or thousands of these Trump people trying
also,
to
their
like move through these
priority was
barricades.
to remove important people from the floor, right? So that's like everybody's giving them trouble because everybody was wandering through the Capitol. But like in reality, like they held up in that one room, they evacuated everybody, and that was when people got shot, was when they tried to get into that room.
Yeah,
right?
I just don't. The narrative that some people are pushing that like, oh, like because there were white people, like people were spreading around that misleading, stupid video about like cops are just letting them into the fucking place. Like, what the fuck? It's like seeing this video go around a lot. It's pretty clear there were Trump supporters already on the other side. As the camera swings around, you can literally see those people just walking around the barriers. To make it extra clear, that perimeter was not doing anything, and there were already Trump supporters simply walking around it. It's very clear.
Click.
There was a complete failure to protect Congress, and there needs to be some serious accountability for that, but this video ain't it. Thank you. People that are like spreading around these stupid fucking one-off videos is the number one reason why breaking news is cancerous as fuck, is because like people will take like these 20-second clips and you have no fucking idea what's going on. People are posting a video with only the 6 seconds of the gate being open to make it look worse. Yeah, not fucking surprising. Super stupid. It totally misses like everything that's going on. I think it's a really simplistic view that like, oh, all the cops were just white nationalists and that's why they weren't beating the shit out of everybody. Am I?
I agree with that take, but I do also agree that the level of preparedness is something that is like, I like during the BLM protests, we had the National Guard on standby in multiple places. So the fact that they weren't like ready for this, and there is like a little bit to be said that like during BLM protests, like I like, correct if I'm wrong, they're like members of our government, like members of Congress and the Senate who were like at threat during all of this. Like, I'm amazed we didn't.
How many people died?
Yeah,
during
I don't
the
know
BLM
how DC was
stuff?
just not. That's just it's unbelievable,
Does anyone have
especially
that
knowing,
number?
especially knowing that Trump had a rally fucking 2 miles away.
Yes.
It's unreal that DC wasn't more ready for this.
But that's a big part of this. How could they not be this prepared unless it was like semi-intentional that they were this fucking unprepared? It just
but like semi-intentional by who? Like do you think the DC mayor like wanted everything to get fucked? Do you think people in Congress wanted everything to get fucked? Like it's got to be like
because if there was an actual like armed raid against the Capitol, there's an Air Force base right now. They would have fucking like airdropped in. What I'm saying is, like, if there was 100 people assaulting the Capitol with AR-15s, I think it would have been very different.
True. But I think another thing, and these are like complicated, these are other complicated things to factor in too. Like sometimes you want to let mobs like burn themselves out. Now, I know that like, not to push too hard against like a lot of the more made for social media narratives, the idea that like every BLM protester was violently and savagely beat up by a cop. The reality is that a lot of those BLM protests lasted way past curfew, and a lot of those just kind of like burnt themselves out as well. And then most of the clips we got are police like late at night, like fucking, you know, chasing down like people breaking curfew shit, and a lot of like genuinely disgusting stuff too, of course. But like I'm not 100% positive like what this would have looked like. I think DC could have been more prepared, but it's not like they could have just started shooting. I don't think like a crowd of like 10 or 100,000 people. I don't know, like right off the bat. Like I don't know if they were expecting them to burn themselves out more, or what if they just thought they could call in the National Guard later and clear them out, which they ultimately did. I don't know why they would let them in the Capitol, or I don't know why they wouldn't have more people inside the Capitol to prevent that. But yeah, I don't know. I just the idea that like it was just like a bunch of racist white cops. Like, what?
Like, was it people from the rally too that just like left the rally to go do this? When it was over?
No, Trump after the rally literally fucking said, "Go march down Pennsylvania Avenue."
We're going to walk down Pennsylvania Avenue. I love Pennsylvania Avenue. And we're going to the Capitol, and we're going to try and give. The Democrats are hopeless. They're never voting for anything. Not even one vote. But we're going to try and give our Republicans, the weak ones, because the strong ones don't need any of our help. We're going to try and give them the kind of pride and boldness that they need to take back our country.
Go fucking march. He literally said it right after the rally. I went and I listened to it because to make sure nobody was like exaggerating, but he literally said it at the end of his rally. He directed people to do it. It's insane.
March though.
Right now they're right now they're actually voting on the objection of the president.
Biden.
Yeah, the House is doing it. The Senate already voted, so this is the last one. Once they do this, then they have all the states from P to Z to finish.
Well, it's 70, 117 nay, and 244 not voted. So, do any of you think that it's going to go through?
No.
What is it? The thing to impeach him?
Yeah, no, this is
you're talking about the electoral count votes.
No,
this was never going to do it. People are just virtue signaling right now. This was always going to go through.
It's electoral vote count. Count votes.
Trump had some really weird. The reason why Trump threw Pence under the bus this morning is Trump had some very weird QAnon conspiracy in his head that there's like some technicality in the Constitution that would let Pence just lie about the vote count and let Pence just come out and say like, "Hey guys, I counted the votes, wink wink, and actually Trump won, LOL." And Pence was made aware of this. And I'm pretty sure Pence sent like a 4-page formal statement to Trump being like, "Yo, I'm not just going to fucking like say you won. This is dumb as fuck." And that's why this morning Trump tweeted that like, "Yo, fuck Pence. He's not a real homie. Fuck this shit. Like, go fuck everything up." Like, that's.
It's just interesting question. What Trump really believes it? I can't fucking believe it. I cannot believe that he believes it.
Dude, what is QAnon? What is that?
QAnon?
So on 4chan at one point, I think somebody was posting, do you know what a trip code is? Okay, on 4chan, you can type in certain things so that people know it's you posting over and over again, even though they don't technically have accounts. So somebody was posting under a trip, I think called Q, and they were like leaking things about the inside of the government, basically saying that there's like some master fucking plan behind the scenes and everything's going to turn out okay. And Trump is actually like playing like 74 million to the 7th power dimensional chess. And he's going to come out on election day and he's going to blow everybody's mind. And he's going to show all the election fraud and it's going to be amazing. And that's what all the Q people are waiting for, is like this magical moment. Trust the plan where everything is going to come together and Trump is going to win.
Trust the plan.
Yeah.
I believe also Democrats are Satanists and they have an underground pedophile ring. I believe.
Yeah, that was
the
like Pizzagate stuff earlier.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, that was proven.
Yeah, was it?
So let's move
Okay,
on.
Mr. PogChamp, let's settle down now.
Remember to hit that like and subscribe, and don't forget the notification bell so that my videos show up right in your feed.
Devin was telling me that you actually are not fully responsible, but at least a little bit responsible for Georgia going blue.
No, he did it all himself. I'm very
Wasn't
proud of you,
me.
Steven.